Hi, today I'm going to be talking to you about perfect competition. Firstly, what is competition? Competition exists when two or more firms compete for customers. In a competitive market, there are enough buyers and sellers that nobody controls the market and how it operates, and everybody has a negligible influence when it comes to the price of the good in question is sold at. That is, the market price, and thus the quantity of that good that is produced. Both price and quantity are instead determined by the interactions of buyer and seller within the market. Examples of highly competitive markets include those based around the goods of coffee, milk, and televisions. So what is perfect competition? In a perfectly competitive market, there is no product differentiation. The goods produced by each firm in the market are completely identical. Neither firms nor customers can exercise influence over the market price of the good in question. They are price takers. There are no barriers to entry, and thus free entry and exit of firms in the market. As there are no barriers to entry, there exists in the market a very large number of firms, and each of these firms has a relatively small share of the market. All customers have perfect knowledge of the market, from the details of the good being sold to the price each firm is selling it at, and thus are able to make rational, fully informed decisions when it comes to purchasing. So what's all this about product differentiation and price takers? In a perfectly competitive market, product differentiation does not exist. As the product is identical from seller to seller, each seller can sell all of what they produce at the established market price. It therefore makes no sense for them to charge less than that established price. In addition, the seller is discouraged from charging any more than the market price, because the homogeneity of the product from seller to seller means that if one seller was to raise the price, buyers would probably just purchase it at a lower price from another seller. Equally, individual buyers have no influence on the price, because the amount they purchase is very small in comparison to the overall size of the market. Thus, in a perfectly competitive market, both buyers and sellers are said to be price takers. The nature of the market means that neither has any influence on the price they buy or sell at. They simply take the price that's offered. So let's talk a little bit about the workings of a perfectly competitive market. In a perfectly competitive market, in the long term, perfectly competitive firms produce at the efficient scale, the quantity that minimizes average total cost. Price equals marginal cost, and the demand curve is horizontal, i.e. perfectly elastic. So why is perfect competition desirable? Perfect competition maximizes consumer surplus, the amount a consumer is willing to pay minus the amount they actually pay, and choice for consumers. It results in the lowest possible prices. It drives firms to operate at the lowest possible cost and ensures the highest output possible. Perfect competition also maximizes total surplus, the sum of consumer and producer surplus, a key measure of economic welfare. It is a very efficient market structure. Perfect competition in the real world. Does it exist? As firms are always trying to differentiate their products and maximize their market share, and consumers do not always necessarily engage in rational decision making, perfect competition is not really found in the real world. It is more of a hypothetical market structure, but it is still highly useful as a benchmark in measuring the competitiveness of a market, and as a scenario that other market structures can be compared with. Some markets do come close to exhibiting all the characteristics of perfect competition. A good example would be the EU agriculture market. Thanks for listening.